Hi Mustang students and families, my name is Tara Grings and I am here today to talk to you about Google Classroom. Hopefully by the end of this video you will be able to familiarize yourself with Google Classroom as well as learn some tips and tricks to stay organized and stay on top of your schoolwork. So let's get into it. The first thing you're going to need to do is go to google.com. From there, you're going to want to make sure that you are signed in to the student's MBUSD apps email account or Gmail account. You will want to make sure that you sign out of anyone else's Gmail account. This will not work. It'll only work if you are signed in to the student's MBUSD apps account. From there, I'm going to go to the 3x3 grid and locate the Google Classroom icon. Because I use Google Classroom a lot, it's available as one of my recent apps, but you actually might need to scroll down to locate the Google Classroom application, so just look around for that. You will either already see your teacher's courses here in what we call the Google Classroom dashboard, or you may have to add a course. Students can add a course if the teacher gives them a join code. So you will need to get a special join code from the teacher. And once you have that join code, you can go here to the plus sign and you can go to join a class. Google Classroom will ask you for that class code. You will enter it here and then click join. Go ahead and click the class you'd like to enter. Enter that class. You will automatically be in the stream view. You can tell which view you're in because it'll be highlighted. Depending on the teacher settings, you can see a lot of activity that the teacher has done. It sort of looks like a Facebook feed where every activity, the most recent activity, no matter what, let's say a teacher creates an assignment, let's say a teacher poses a question, let's say a student asks a teacher a comment, all of that would be seen here in this stream view unless the teacher has chosen to turn this item off. Well, for students and families, it can get a little overwhelming or confusing when it's all listed and kind of collected that way. We do encourage teachers to turn this feature off, but I just want families to kind of know that if you want to make some sort of organizational sense out of your Google Classroom, you likely are not going to look through the stream view, but rather the classwork view, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. One more thing about the stream view, though, it is very helpful for discussions if the teacher has set it up properly. Students can post comments or interact with discussions if the teacher chooses to do so. Students can even share attachments here if that feature is not turned off. We just want to always encourage students to act ethically and responsibly, especially in an academic classroom environment. So we'll go over to the classwork tab now. The classwork tab is much more organized, especially if your teacher has established what Google Classroom calls topics. So over here on the side, you can actually filter by topics. You can see all the topics at a glance. You can go down and navigate the individual topics. And if I'm navigating the individual topics, it'll filter just by that topic. So this could be helpful if the teacher has a lot of different topics. It might be helpful to filter by topic. Another thing you'll want to know about topics is Google Classroom only allows 10 subtopics to show underneath any given topic heading. If the teacher has posted more than 10 subtopics, then there will be a little view more button down here and you will need to click it to reveal all of the subtopics that the teacher has created. This is really important if your student thinks that they have completed all the assignments. They may need to click view more to just ensure that they have done so. Teachers may post items that are due, something that students actually have to submit for. We call these in Google Classroom assignments or quizzes or questions. Or teachers may post just a resource for students, and those are called materials. You will know that the item is something your child needs to turn in because the icon will be highlighted here. So if you take a look, these dark purple circles indicate that I, as a student, have to do something. Whereas this item is grayed out, it's just a material. But be careful because you may need to use or read that material in order to complete these assignments. A really cool function of Google Classroom is this feature, View Your Work. If you click that, you will get a list of assignments for students that are due. In this view, you can filter by what's been assigned by the teacher. You can filter if anything has been returned by the teacher with comments, or you can filter by missing assignments. Another great feature that shows students what's due is if you go back to the stream view, you'll see a little box here that says upcoming. And Google will let you know if there is an assignment that is due within 5 days of the calendar. And so this is really helpful for students to begin prioritizing what's coming up due. The only caveat is make sure that students see this piece right here where they can view all. Sometimes you can't see all of the upcoming assignments here. You'll need to click view all to actually see them all. So I'm going to take a look at this assignment that a teacher posted called What Do You Know? You'll notice that once I click it, it does expand, but I'm still not viewing necessarily this whole assignment. So we do want to click here where it says View Assignment. From there, I want to make sure that I read everything. It says, what do you know? In a paragraph, tell me what you already know about The Great Gatsby. It's important too for students to click any attachments that go along with assignments. Teachers may have one attachment or they could have several. Making sure that students read and look at all of the attachments could be crucial in them understanding the holistic assignment. So I would click here, here's the Great Gatsby trailer, and I would watch it. When it's time for me to submit my work, I can click this icon to add or create something. I could create a Google Doc. Sometimes teachers will attach a Google Doc that I then have to make a copy of. Sometimes there will be a copy down here or a handout that I need to fill out. It just depends. Either way, I am going to do my best to submit to the prompt in this assignment. In this case, I'm just going to create a Google Doc to answer the assignment. Be sure and check the spelling and grammar of your work before submitting it, as well as titling it. To check the spelling, I could just hover over individual words and take the autocorrect suggestion, or I can go up here where it says Tools to Spelling and Grammar, and I'll click Spelling and Grammar Check, and Google will go through my entire document correcting errors. Once I'm ready to submit my assignment, I want to make sure and click Turn In. By clicking Turn In, I have handed over my ownership of this document to the teacher. And that would mean that I now cannot make any further edits to this document. If I see that I made a mistake and the teacher allows it, I could always click Unsubmit to pull that document back into my ownership, where I can then make a correction and then click Turn In. In this view, I can also send my teacher a private comment, and you would click the Send button to post your question. If I go back to the classwork view and click View Your Work, the assigned assignment now shows it as being turned in. When I filter now by what's assigned, I will no longer see that assignment because I've already completed it. Now we'll take a look at a quiz. Quizzes in Google Classroom look similar to a Google form. I would simply click the attachment to this assignment and take the quiz. If the teacher has identified the correct answers, My answers will show up immediately right here. Last, we'll look at a question. This teacher posted a quick question just to check for my understanding. I opened it up. Over here on the right side, it asks me for my answer, and then I'm just going to click turn in. Once I've hit turn in, if the teacher allows it, I can see all of the other classes' answers as well. There are two more features that I would love to share with families. These are great to help your students stay organized. One, if you go to this 3-line hamburger menu button, there's an option that's called To Do. This very neatly shows all of the assignments that I still need to do as a student. Any assignments in red will be seen as missing and past due. It'll also section off any assignments that don't have a due date. The to-do list is a very powerful feature in Google Classroom. You can also filter by done, and I can see all of the things that I've already completed. The last thing I wanted to share that's a really powerful tool in Google Classroom, if I go to the classwork tab, right here I can click on a Google Calendar. For every Google Classroom that your child has, there is automatically created a Google Calendar for it. And you can come down here on this sidebar and assign a specific color to that class. And you will see it here in the actual calendar view. So if your child has 6 Google Classrooms, then you could color code each class to really start to carve out a to-do list and manage a day-to-day schedule. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. I hope that you saw some great tips and ways that you and your child can stay organized. And as always, best of luck to you.